Our story is about the most beautiful human to ever walk the earth, Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, Joseph. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, described him as having half of all beauty in the whole universe. Imagine this with me. Take every person who ever lived from Adam till the end of time, gather all this beauty, mix it together, and even then, that's only half. The other half was given to Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam alone. But as amazing as his beauty was, it became the cause of many challenges in his life. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video so you don't miss anything new. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Our story for today starts in the land of Canaan. With its rolling hills and serene pastures, was a home to Sayyiduna Yaqub alayhi salam. As a prophet of Allah Azza wa Jal, Yaqub alayhi salam was deeply connected to his creator and revered by his people. Among his 12 sons, each unique in character, Yusuf alayhi salam shone like a rare gem. His beauty was unparalleled, his demeanor gentle, and his character upright. Yusuf's charm wasn't limited to his physical appearance. His intelligence and kindness endeared him to all, especially his father. One night, a young Yusuf approached his father, his eyes wide and wonder and excitement. "Oh my father," he began, "I have seen a vision. يا أبت إني رأيت 11 كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين." Oh my father, indeed, I have seen in a dream 11 stars and a sun and a moon. I saw them prostrating to me. Yaqub alayhi salam at this moment, though deeply moved by the dream's prophetic nature, grew concerned. He saw divine wisdom in the vision, but also foresaw the envy it might ignite in Yusuf's brothers. Gently, brothers and sisters, he advised, قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيد لك كيدا إن الشيطان للإنسان عدو مبين. Oh my son, don't relate your vision to your brothers or they will contrive against you a plan. Indeed, Satan to man is a manifested enemy. But jealousy, like a slow poison, had already begun to seep into the hearts of Yusuf's brothers. They saw their father's affection for Yusuf as a threat to their own place in the family. In hushed whispers, they plotted, اقتلوا يوسف أو اطرحوه أرضا يخلو لكم وجه أبيكم وَتَكُونُ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ قَوْمًا صَالِحِينَ. Kill Yusuf or cast him out to some land. The face of your father will then be only for you, and you will be after that a righteous people. They would often observe how their father gazed at Yusuf with pride, speaking to him gently while asking them to work harder. This imbalance festered in their minds, and one day they hatched a plan. The brothers of Yusuf, envious of their father's deep affection for him, devised a plan to rid themselves of him. They approached their father Yaqub with a seemingly innocent request, saying, قالوا يا أبانا ما لك لا تأمنا على يوسف وإنا له لناصحون. They said, "Oh our father, why do you not entrust us with Yusuf, while indeed we are to him sincere counselors?" They continued, pleading for permission to take Yusuf out to play, promising to protect him. أرسله معنا غدا يرتع ويلعب وإنا له لحافظون. Send him with us tomorrow, that he may eat well and play, and indeed we will be his guardians. Yaqub, at that moment deeply protective of Yusuf, hesitated. He feared for his son's safety, particularly the danger of a wild animal. قال إني ليحزنني أن تذهبوا به وأخاف أن يأكله الذئب وأنتم عنه غافلون. He said, "Indeed, it saddens me that you should take him, and I fear that a wolf would eat him while you are unaware." The brothers insisted on their plan, reassured their father of their protection. قالوا لئن أكله الذئب ونحن عصبة إنا إذا لخاسرون. They said, if a wolf should eat him while we are a strong clan, then indeed we would be losers. Reluctantly, Yaqub allowed Yusuf to go with his brothers. They departed, their hearts already set on carrying out their treacherous plan. When they reached a scheduled spot far from their father's watchful eyes, their demeanor changed. changed. The playful camaraderie turned into cold betrayal. فلما ذهبوا به وأجمعوا أن يجعلوه في غيابة الجب. So when they took him out and agreed to put him into the bottom of a well, with no one to intervene, they cruelly cast Yusuf into a deep, dark well. Alone and frightened, Yusuf's faith in Allah remained unwavering. In this moment of despair, Allah inspired Yusuf with a divine promise. Imagine with me a young boy in his 7 or 8 years, alone in a dark and deep well, don't know anything about his future except he has faith in Allah. At that moment, Allah inspired Yusuf with a divine promise. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. And we inspired to him, you will surely inform them someday about this affair of theirs while they don't perceive your identity. This reassurance, brothers and sisters, from Allah Azza wa Jal gave Yusuf strength, reminding him that his ordeal was part of a greater plan. Having cast Yusuf into the well, the brothers connected a false tale to explain his absence. They smeared Yusuf's shirt with a fake blood and returned home late at night, pretending to be overcome with grief. وَجَاءُوا أَبَاهُمْ عِشَاءً يَبْكُونَ. And they came to their fathers at night weeping, fidgeting sorrow. They told Yaqub that a wolf had devoured Yusuf while they were distracted. قالوا يا أبانا إنا ذهبنا نستبق وتركنا يوسف عند متاعنا فأكله الذئب وما أنت بمؤمن لنا ولو كنا صادقين. They said, "Oh our father, indeed we went racing each other and left Yusuf with our possessions, and a wolf ate him. But you wouldn't believe us, even if we were truthful." To support their fabricated story, they presented Yusuf's shirt stained with false blood. وَجَاءُوا عَلَى قَمِيصِهِ بِدَمٍ كَذِبٍ. And they brought upon his shirt false blood. Sayyiduna Yaqub immediately saw through their deception. Their heart ached for Yusuf, yet he knew his trial was part of Allah's plan. He chose to exercise beautiful patience, فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ, entrusting the matter to Allah. قَالَ بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسَكُمْ أَمْرًا فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ وَاللَّهُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. He said, rather, your souls have enticed you to something, so patience is most fitting, and Allah is the one sought for help against that which you describe. On the other hand, brothers and sisters, young Yusuf, Sayyiduna Yusuf, beloved by his father, Prophet Yaqub, peace be upon him, found himself in the depth of a dark, cold well. His brothers, driven by jealousy, had schemed to cast him away, hoping to erase his presence from their father's heart. After they left him alone in the well, Yusuf remained calm, his heart filled with faith in Allah's plan. Even in the face of despair, Allah revealed a promise to Yusuf. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. And we inspired to him, you will surely inform them someday about this affair of theirs while they do not perceive your identity. This divine reassurance was like a beacon of light in the well's darkness, comforting Yusuf and reminding him that Allah was with him. Not long after, a traveling caravan approached the well, seeking water for their journey. They sent a man to draw from it. As he lowered his bucket into the well, he was met with unexpected surprise. A young Yusuf clung to the bucket and emerged with it. The man at this moment for sure exclaimed with astonishment, "Ya Bushra, هذا غلام! Oh, good news! This is a boy." But instead of seeing Yusuf as a child in need of help, they saw him as a commodity. The caravan's members decided to sell him as a slave in the marketplace. When Yusuf was brought to Egypt and displayed for sale, he was purchased for a paltry sum, despite his worth being far beyond any price. وَشَرَوْهُ بِثَمَنٍ بَخْسٍ دَرَاهِمَ مَعْدُودَةٍ وَكَانُوا فِيهِ مِنَ الزَّاهِدِينَ. And they sold him for a reduced price, a few dirhams, and they were concerning him of those content with little. Yusuf, sold into slavery, found himself in the grand house of Al-Aziz, a powerful and wealthy official in Egypt. Though a servant, Yusuf's dignity and grace shone through. He carried himself with humility, intelligence, and a remarkable presence that made him stand out. Al-Aziz, recognizing Yusuf's potentials, instructed his wife to treat him with care, saying, وقال الذي اشتراه من مصر لامرأته أكرمي مثواه عسى أن ينفعنا أو نتخذه ولدا. Make his residence comfortable. Perhaps he will benefit us, or we will adopt him as a son. As the years passed, brothers and sisters, Yusuf alayhi salam matured into a young man of exceptional beauty and character. His presence captivated everyone around him. However, none was more taken by Yusuf than Al-Aziz's wife. Her admiration for him grew from innocent wonder into an obsessive desire. Unable to resist her emotions, she plotted a moment of privacy. She waited until the house was quiet, with no servants or interruptions. Then, one fateful day, she made her move. In the stillness of the day, she summoned Yusuf alayhi salam to one of her chambers. The heavy doors were shut, their bolts echoing ominously in the silence. Yusuf stepped in, his heart trusting in Allah, unaware of the storm that awaited him. As he entered, she stood before him, her intentions unmistakable. She gazed at him and whispered, وراودته التي هو في بيتها عن نفسه وغلقت الأبواب وقالت هيت لك. And she, in whose house he was, sought to seduce him. She closed the doors and said, Come, you. The air in the room grew thick with tension, but Yusuf alayhi salam, pure in heart and unwavering in his faith, refused. His voice, steady and resolute, broke the silence. قال معاذ الله إنه ربي أحسن مثواي إنه لا يفلح الظالمون. And he said, I seek refuge in Allah. Indeed, He is my master, who has made good my residence. Indeed, wrongdoers will not succeed. Refusing to relent, she launched toward Yusuf, her desperation overtaking her dignity. Yusuf, at that moment, sensing the danger, turned and fled toward the door. The room erupted into chaos. As he ran, she grasped at his shirt, her grip tearing it from behind. واستبق الباب وقدت قميصه من دبر. And they both raced to the door, and she tore his shirt from the back. The door suddenly burst open, and there stood Al-Aziz. His eyes widened as he took in the scene. Yusuf, breathless, with his torn shirt, and his wife flustered and cornered. The weight of the moment hung heavily in the air. Before Al-Aziz could speak, his wife tried to twist the narrative in her favor. She pointed at Yusuf, her voice trembling with feigned indignation. قالت ما جزاء من أراد بأهلك سوءا إلا أن يسجن أو عذاب أليم. She said, and focused, brothers and sisters, in this. What's the recompense of one who intend harm to your wife except that he is imprisoned or a painful punishment? But Yusuf alayhi salam, innocent and unyielding, spoke in his defense. قال هي راودتني عن نفسي. He spoke the truth. Yusuf said, it was she who sought to seduce me. A witness from the household, sensing the tension, proposed a simple test to determine the truth. He declared, إن كان قميصه قد من قبل فصدقت وهو من الكاذبين وإن كان قميصه قد من دبر فكذبت وهو من الصادقين. If his shirt turned from the front, then she has told the truth, and he is of the liars. But if the shirt turned from the back, then she has lied, and he is of the truthful. Al-Aziz examined Yusuf's shirt and saw the tear from the back. The truth was clear. He turned to his wife and said, إنه من كيدكن إن كيدكن عظيم. Indeed, it's your woman's plan. Indeed, your plan is great. To avoid scandal and high-class people things, Al-Aziz ordered Yusuf to keep the matter hidden and instructed his wife to seek forgiveness. But brothers and sisters, the story didn't remain a secret. Whispers spread among the women of the city, and they mocked Al-Aziz's wife for her infatuation with a servant. To silence them, she invited them to a meeting. She prepared food and gave them knives to cut fruit. Then she summoned Yusuf to appear before them. At this moment, when Yusuf entered, his beauty left them in awe. They were so struck that they lost control, cutting their hands with the knives. فلما رأينه أكبرنه وقطعنا أيديهن وقلنا حاشا لله ما هذا بشرا إن هذا إلا ملك كريم. So when they saw him, they greatly admired him and cut their hands and said, "Perfect is Allah. This is not a man. This is none but a noble angel." Even as the woman tried to seduce him, Yusuf remained steadfast. He turned to Allah saying, قال رب السجن أحب إلي مما يدعونني إليه. He said, "My Lord, prison is more to my liking than that to which they invite me." Thus, brothers and sisters, Yusuf was imprisoned, an innocent man, but his heart remained firm in faith, trusting that Allah's plan would unfold in due time. Though innocent of any wrongdoing, Yusuf was sent to prison at the insistence of Al-Aziz's wife and the city elite to avoid further scandal. For Yusuf, imprisonment was a refuge from the moral corruption that surrounded him. He turned to Allah, content with his decree. فاستجاب له ربه فصرف عنه كيدهن إنه هو السميع العليم ثم بدا لهم من بعد ما رأوه آل البيت ليسجننه حتى حين. So his Lord responded to him and averted their plan from him. Indeed, he is the hearing, the knowing. Then it appeared to them, after they had seen the signs, that they should imprison him for a time. Thus Yusuf entered the cold, dark walls of the prison, but his heart remained filled with light and trust in Allah. In the prison, Yusuf's demeanor and wisdom didn't go unnoticed. Among the inmates were two men, both troubled by strange dreams. They approached Yusuf, confident in his integrity and ability to interpret dreams. One of them said, "Inna naraka min al-muhsinin." Indeed, we see you as one of those who do good. The first man said, "I dreamed that I was pressing wine." The second man said, "I dreamed that I was carrying bread on my head and birds were eating from it." They pleaded with Yusuf, "نبئنا بتأويله إن نراك من المحسنين." Inform us of its interpretation. Indeed, we see you as one of those who do good. Before interpreting their dreams, Yusuf seized the opportunity to call them to Allah Azza wa Jalla. He reminded them of the one true Creator and the futility of worshipping false gods. يا صاحبي السجن أأرباب متفرقون خير أم الله الواحد القهار. O two companions of the prison, are separate lords better or Allah, the one the prevailing? He declared the oneness of Allah and explained that all knowledge and wisdom are from Him. Yusuf used his moment to guide them toward faith, showing that even in confinement, his purpose was to call others to truth. After delivering his message, Yusuf interpreted their dreams. To the first man he said, أَمَّا أَحَدُكُمَا فَيَسْقِي رَبَّهُ خَمْرًا. As for one of you, he will give drink to his master of wine. To the second man he said, وَأَمَّا الْآخَرُ فَيُصْلَبُ فَتَأْكُلُ الطَّيْرُ مِنْ رَأْسِهِ. And as for the other, he will be crucified and the birds will eat from his head. Yusuf added, emphasizing Allah's authority over all matters. قُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ الَّذِي فِيهِ تَسْتَفْتِيَانِ. The matter had been decreed about which you both inquire. The interpretations proved to be accurate. The first man was reinstated to his position as a cupbearer to the king, while the second was executed. As the cupbearer was about to leave prison, Yusuf requested him to mention Yusuf's case to the king, hoping for justice. اذكرني عند ربك. Mention me before your master. But brothers and sisters, the cupbearer, upon returning to his duties, forgot Yusuf's plea, leaving him to remain in prison for several more years. فأنساه الشيطان ذكر ربه فلبث في السجن بضع سنين. But Satan made him forget the mention to his master, and Yusuf remained in prison for several years. Years passed, brothers and sisters, and Yusuf remained in prison, steadfast and patient. One day, brothers and sisters, the king of Egypt had a puzzling dream that one of his advisors or magicians could interpret. In his dream, he saw, وقال الملأ إني أرى 7 بقرات سمان يأكلهن 7 عجاف و7 سنبلات خضر وأخرى يابسات. Indeed, I have seen in a dream 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 that were lean, and 7 green spikes of grain and others that were dry. The dream baffled the king, who said to his count, يا أيها الملأ افتوني في رؤياي إن كنتم للرؤيا تعبرون. O eminent ones, explain to me my vision if you should interpret visions. But none of them could provide a satisfying explanation, dismissing the dream as meaningless. قالوا أضغاث أحلام وما نحن بتأويل الأحلام بعالمين. They said, it's but a mixture of false dream, and we are not learned in the interpretation of dreams. At that moment, the king's cupbearer, who had been imprisoned with Yusuf, remembered Yusuf's extraordinary ability to interpret dreams. He approached the king and said, وقال الذي نجا منهما وادكر بعد أمة أنا أنبئكم بتأويله فأرسلون. But the one who has freed and remembered after a time said, I will inform you of its interpretation, so send me an envoy. He went to Yusuf in prison and recounted the king's dream, seeking his interpretation. Yusuf, guided by divine wisdom by Allah Azza wa Jal, provided a detailed and profound interpretation of the dream. قال تزرعون 7 سنين دأبا فما حصدتم فذروه في سنبله إلا قليلا مما تأكلون ثم يأتي من بعد ذلك 7 شداد يأكلن ما قدمتم لهن إلا قليلا مما تحصنون ثم يأتي بعد ذلك عام فيه يغاث الناس وفيه يعصرون. Yusuf explained, you will plant for 7 years consecutively, and what you harvest, leaving its spikes, except a little from which you will eat. Then will come after that 7 difficult years, which will consume what you have saved for them, except a little from which you will store. Then will come after that a year in which the people will be given a rain and in which they will press olives and grapes. Yusuf not only interpreted the dream, but also provided a strategic plan to save Egypt from the impending famine. Impressed by the interpretation, the cupbearer returned to the king, who immediately summoned Yusuf. However, Yusuf, with dignity and integrity, refused to leave prison until his innocence was proven. He asked for an investigation into the incident with Al-Aziz's wife and the women of the city. قال ارجع إلى ربك فاسأله ما بال النسوة التي قطعن أيديهن إن ربي بكيدهن عظيم. Yusuf said, return to your master and ask him, what is the case of the women who cut their hands? Indeed, my lord is knowing of their plan. The king called upon the woman and the Al-Aziz's wife to testify. They admitted their guilt, and Al-Aziz's wife confessed. الآن حصحص الحق أنا راودته عن نفسه وإنه لمن الصادقين. Now the truth has become evident. It was I who sought to seduce him, and indeed he is of the truthful. With the innocence established, Yusuf was not only freed from his prison, but was also elevated to a position of authority. The king, recognizing Yusuf's wisdom, said, وقال الملك ائتوني به أستخلصه لنفسي فلما كلمه قال إنك اليوم لدينا مكين أمين. And the king said, bring him to me, and I will appoint him exclusively for myself. And when he spoke to him, he said, indeed, you are today established in position and trusted. Yusuf, humble yet confident in his abilities, requested to be placed in charge of the storehouse of the land to implement his plan for the upcoming famine. قال اجعلني على خزائن الأرض إني حفيظ عليم. He said, appoint me over the storehouses of the land. Indeed, I will be a knowing guardian. After Yusuf, peace be upon him, rose to a position of prominence in Egypt as the custodian of the storehouse during the impending famine, Allah's divine plan began to unfold, bringing his long-lost family back into his life. The 7 years of prosperity had passed, and the years of famine gripped not only Egypt, but the surrounding regions as well. The famine forced people from neighboring lands to come to Egypt to buy food. Among these travelers were Yusuf's brothers, who had no idea their brother was alive, let alone that he was now a ruler in Egypt. وَجَاءَ إِخْوَةُ يُوسُفُ فَدَخَلُوا عَلَيْهِ فَعَرِفَهُمْ وَهُمْ لَهُ مُنْكِرُونَ. And the brothers of Yusuf came seeking food, and they entered upon him, and he recognized them, but he was to them unknown. Yusuf, ever patient and composed, recognized his brothers immediately, but he chose not to reveal his identity. Instead, he engaged them with wisdom and began to plan to bring his family together. As per the custom, Yusuf arranged for their provisions to be measured and distributed. He noticed that they hadn't brought their youngest brother, Benjamin, his full brother. Yusuf longed to see him and said, فَلَمَّا جَهَّزَهُمْ بِجِهَازِهِمْ قَالَ ائْتُونِي بِأَخٍ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَبِيكُمْ أَلَا تَرُونَ أَنِّي أُوفِي الْكَيْلَ وَأَنَا خَيْرُ الْمُنْزِلِينَ. And when he had furnished them with their supplies, he said, bring me a brother of yours from your father. Don't you see that I give full measure and that I'm best of accommodators? He warned them that if they didn't bring their youngest brother, they wouldn't receive further provisions. فَإِن لَمْ تَأْتُونِي بِهِ فَلَا كَيْلَ لَكُمْ عِنْدِي وَلَا تَقْرَبُونَ. But if you don't bring him to me, no measure will be there for you from me, nor will you approach me. To ensure their return, Yusuf secretly instructed his servants to place their payment back into their saddlebags, so they would find it upon returning home. وقال لفتيانه جعلوا بضاعتهم في رحالهم لعلهم يعرفونها إذا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم لعلهم يرجعون. And he said to his servants, put their merchandise into their saddlebags, so they might recognize it when they have gone back to their people, that perhaps they will return. When the brothers returned to Canaan, they told their father, Yaqub alayhi salam, about their journey and the conditions set by the ruler of Egypt. They pleaded with him to send Benjamin with them, assuring him of their care. قالوا يا أبانا منع منا الكيل فارسل معنا أخانا نكتل وإنا له لحافظون. They said, O our father, further measure has been denied to us, so send with us our brother that we may be given measure, and indeed we will be his guardians. The same old story. But Yaqub alayhi salam, still grieving the loss of Yusuf and deeply cautious, hesitated. He remembered how he had entrusted Yusuf to them years ago, only for him to vanish. Nonetheless, he relented after taking a solemn oath from them. قال لن أرسله معكم حتى تؤتوني موثقا من الله لا تأتيني به إلا أن يحاط بكم. He said, I will never send him with you until you give me a promise by Allah that you will bring him back to me unless you should be surrounded by enemies. When the brothers returned to Egypt with Benjamin, Yusuf welcomed them warmly. He arranged for Benjamin to stay close to him and, during a private moment, revealed his identity to his younger brother. فلما جهزهم بجهازهم جعل السقاية في رحل أخيه. And when he had furnished them with their supplies, he put the gold measuring cup into the bag of his brother. And now, brothers and sisters, focus with me a little bit more. Yusuf at that moment orchestrated a plan. As the brothers were about to leave, he instructed his men to announce that the king's cup was missing. A search was conducted and the cup was found in Benjamin's bag. قالوا فقد سرق أخ له من قبل. They said, if he steals, a brother of his had stolen before. They are talking about their younger brother Yusuf alayhi salam years ago. The brothers were distraught but helpless, as they had no choice but to leave Benjamin behind, as per the agreement. Back in Canaan with their father, the brothers informed their father of what had transpired. Yaqub, overwhelmed by grief, mourned the loss of another son. وتولى عنهم وقال يا أسف على يوسف وابيضت عيناه من الحزن فهو قضيم. And he turned away from them and said, "Oh, my sorrow over Yusuf." And his eyes became white from grief, for he was of that a suppressor of grief. Yet, even in his sorrow, Yaqub alayhi salam didn't lose hope in Allah's mercy and wisdom. He urged his son to return to Egypt and search for Yusuf and Benjamin. يا بني اذهبوا فتحسسوا من يوسف وأخيه ولا تيأسوا من روح الله. Oh my sons, go and find out about Yusuf and his brother and despair not of relief from Allah. When the brothers returned to Yusuf desperate for aid, Yusuf could no longer keep his identity hidden. He revealed himself to them. قال هل علمتم ما فعلتم بيوسف وأخيه إذ أنتم جاهلون. He said, "Do you know what you did with Yusuf and his brother when you were ignorant?" The brothers, stunned and remorseful, recognized Yusuf. قالوا أئنك لأنت يوسف قال أنا يوسف وهذا أخي قد من الله علينا. They said, "Are you indeed Yusuf?" He said, "I am Yusuf, and this is my brother. Allah has certainly favored us." Overcome with guilt, the brothers sought Yusuf's forgiveness, and he actually forgave them graciously, attributing everything to Allah's plan. قال لا تثريب عليكم اليوم يغفر الله لكم وهو أرحم الراحمين. He said, "No blame will there be upon you today. May Allah forgive you, and He is the most merciful of the merciful." After revealing his identity to his brothers and forgiving them, Yusuf, peace be upon him, asked them to return to Canaan and bring their father, Yaqub alayhi salam, and the entire family to Egypt. He gave them his shirt as a token of reassurance and instructed them to place it on their father's face, which would restore his sight, lost due to years of weeping and sorrow. اذهبوا بقميصي هذا فألقوه على وجه أبي يأتي بصيرا وأتوني بأهلكم أجمعين. Take this shirt of mine and cast it over the face of my father. He will become seeing. And bring me your family all together. As the caravan set out for Canaan carrying the good news, Yaqub, peace be upon, sitting at home and still grieving, suddenly felt a sense of hope. He exclaimed, إني لا أجد ريح يوسف لولا أن تفندون. Indeed, I find the smell of Yusuf and would say that he is alive if you didn't think me weakened in mind. His family, skeptical and unable to share his unwavering hope, dismissed his words as the ramblings of an old man still grieving his lost son or sons. قالوا تالله إنك لفي ضلالك القديم. They said, "By Allah, indeed you are in your same old error." When the caravan arrived and Yusuf's shirt was placed over Yaqub's face, a miracle occurred. His sight was restored, fulfilling Yusuf's earlier promise. فلما أن جاء البشير ألقاه على وجهه فارتد بصيرا. And when the bearer of good tidings arrived, he cast it over his face and he returned once again seeing. Yaqub, overwhelmed with gratitude and joy, declared his faith in Allah Azza wa Jal, wisdom and plan. قال ألم أقل لكم إني أعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون. He said, "Did I not tell you that I know from Allah that which you don't know?" The entire family, including Yaqub and Yusuf's brothers, prepared to leave for Egypt. Their caravan embarked on the journey, filled with anticipation and joy at the prospect of reuniting with Yusuf. As they approached, the scene was one of immense joy, gratitude, and the fulfillment of long-held hopes. When Yaqub alayhi salam and his family arrived in Egypt, Yusuf personally went out to welcome them. It was a moment of profound emotion as Yusuf embraced his parents and greeted them with the deepest respect. فلما دخلوا على يوسف آوى إليه أبويه وقال ادخلوا مصر إن شاء الله آمنين. And when they entered upon Yusuf, he took his parents to himself and said, "Enter Egypt. Allah willing, safe and secure. At Yusuf's request, his parents and brothers prostrated before him in respect and gratitude, a customary gesture of honor in their time. In this moment, Yusuf's childhood dream was fulfilled. ورفع أبويه على العرش وخروا له سجدا وقال يا أبت هذا تأويل رؤياي من قبل قد جعلها ربي حقا. And he raised his parents upon the throne, and they bowed to him in prostration. And he said, O my father, this is the explanation of my vision of before. My Lord has made it reality. Yusuf reflected on Allah's mercy, acknowledging how Allah had delivered him from the well, reunited him with his family, and brought good out of every trial he faced. إن ربي لطيف لما يشاء إنه هو العليم الحكيم. Indeed, my Lord is subtle in what he wills. Indeed, it's he who is the knowing, the wise. In a moment of gratitude and humility, Yusuf turned to Allah in supplication, thanking him for his blessings and guidance throughout his life. He prayed, رب قد آتيتني من الملك وعلمتني من تأويل الأحاديث فاطر السماوات والأرض أنت ولي في الدنيا والآخرة توفني مسلما وألحقني بالصالحين. My Lord, you have given me something of sovereignty and taught me of the interpretation of dreams. Creator of the heavens and the earth, you are my protector in this world and the hereafter. Cause me to die as a Muslim and join me with the righteous. So, brothers and sisters, why do I tell you that story? 1. It's timeless one. Yusuf's journey resonates with human experiences across generations: betrayal, temptation, loss, hope, forgiveness, and triumph. 2. It's a source of guidance for us. It teaches us how to navigate life's trials while remaining faithful to Allah. 3. It's an inspiration for resilience. Yusuf's patience in adversity reminds us to persevere, trusting that Allah's plan is unfolding. 4. It emphasizes morality, from resisting temptation to leading with integrity. The story sets a standard for righteous behavior. 5. It teaches forgiveness and reconciliation. Yusuf forgave his brothers, showing that healing and unity are more valuable than holding on to grudges. So, hey brothers and sisters, if you enjoyed this video, you're going to love this one right here, where I share the story of another prophet. Be sure to check it out. Salam.